So your gums are bleeding, right? Right. So I have been dealing with periodontal gum disease, which is the next step after gingivitis, which is the next step after healthy gums. And periodontal gum disease is apparently a one-way trip. I don't understand how that's possible, but apparently it is. So basically, anytime that I don't take good enough care of my teeth and gums, or I eat a lot of sugar, I end up having problems with my mouth, with bleeding, with teeth sensitivity, but especially bleeding. And this is something that started back in my 20s because for a few years I got really lazy about taking care of my mouth for some reason. I don't remember why. I don't know if it was my depression or if it was something else, but I started having a lot of problems with my gums bleeding. In fact, I could just go like this and I would have blood coming out of my gums just from sucking air through my teeth. That's all. Not even touching them, just air. And when you can suck air through your teeth and your gums start bleeding, that's, yeah, not a good sign, right? So I went and they looked at my gums and they took x-rays and they said, yeah, you've got lots of plaque underneath your gums. And I saw some of the pictures. So I did actually clean some of the plaque off by myself. Well, actually, it's not plaque so much as tartar. I got, I'm not going to explain how I did it because I don't want people trying to duplicate what I did. But I removed some of the tartar on my own, and then I had a root planing to have the rest of the tartar removed. And the dentist commented, "Oh, there's not as much as there was." And I said, "Yeah, I got rid of some of it myself." And after that, that was great. But the most important thing was to develop a good oral hygiene regimen. And the problem is unfortunately some dentists don't actually have enough knowledge. Like the last dentist that I saw, I asked, "What do you think of mouthwash?" He says, "Hey, you don't need it." And I was like, "What?" Because in my situation, when I don't use mouthwash, yeah, that's bad. So here's what I do, and then I want to talk more about the whole bleeding gum problem. The first step is I floss all of my teeth. The second step is I brush, and the third step is I use mouthwash. Now, as far as flossing is concerned, if you're flossing your teeth and number one, your gums are bleeding, and number two, it stinks, we'll address that in a minute. The reason I do it in the order that I do it in is because the flossing gets the stuff between the teeth and loosens up what it doesn't actually pull out, which is, it's a bit of a pain. So what I do is usually, and this is going to sound kind of, gross, but you want to when you do one gap, bring it out of your mouth and then just flick it into the sink because there's going to be food and plaque on the floss. And then just do it all the way around. That loosens everything up and it gets between the teeth clean. And the weird thing is, and I'm not sure exactly why this is, but if I just floss and I don't afterwards immediately brush, I'll notice that there'll be a decrease in the amount of plaque on my teeth. And I don't understand what it is that's going on that causes that. But I'm talking about the surfaces of my teeth that I can touch with my tongue will go from more to less. It'll become smoother. But I'm not advocating that you shouldn't brush, So then I brush and I do little circles and you don't press hard. If you press hard, you're going to wear out the enamel because years and years of doing that, you can actually remove the enamel. So I do little circles all the way around. You should spend about 30 seconds per quadrant. So if you divide this up into two quadrants, then you have 4 quadrants or a whole mouth. Now, I know there are some people out there that literally don't have a whole mouth anymore, and I'm sorry for you. It's got to suck. I know there are people who are so addicted to drinking like Mountain Dew and other egregiously over-sugared things that they've lost teeth and they've lost gums and they use dentures and they're only 20-something years old or younger. Sorry. So I do that on the outside. I do that on the tops of the teeth. And then I do it on the inside. On the bottom and on the top. So theoretically, if you're getting it done in about 2 minutes and you're making sure to hit every angle with the teeth, I'm not saying that you're like trying to like be OCD about it, but when you get to the point where the teeth are curving and there's a gap, at least there is for me. Well, not a gap, but like it feels like I've got it. It's like this kind of. So the teeth are started right in this area here. There's a point at which it seems like food gets stuck there a lot, and there's just this weird curvature that creates this space that's more difficult to get into. If you don't get the right angle. I mean, if you get the right angle, it's fine. But if you don't adjust your wrist, your action and stuff, then it will. Once I've got that down and get all the way around and I do the same thing, I also will take my toothbrush and I'll get it between the gums on the cheek and the teeth and drag it from the back forward, because sometimes there are little bits of food that get lodged back in there, and I do it up on the top side and the bottom sides to help make sure there's nothing there. And finally, I will brush my tongue. Don't brush too hard. You just want, the idea is to get all that extra plaque off of your tongue so your tongue doesn't look yellow or white. If you've got like huge amounts of plaque or whiteness on your teeth, it might be something else. I've forgotten the name of it, but it's I think it's a fungal infection. I think it's called thrush. You would want to see the doctor about that, because brushing alone isn't going to get rid of it. It's a fungal infection. Anyways, once I've done that, then I use mouthwash. Now you can use Listerine. You can use like store-bought brands, not Super Value. But Systema, if you're in Asia, is really good. If you can get like Kroger or Meijer, those are really good brands as well. I have to say I've used both of them and I've been pleased with the results. One thing you want to look for is if there's any kind of a symbol on the packaging from the American Dental Association, which suggests possibly that brand is better for your mouth than other brands. So you're going to swish it around in there as much as you can and gargle it a little bit, like that, and do that for at least 30 seconds. 30 seconds to a minute. Now, you do not have to use the amount of toothpaste that is recommended on the packaging. I only use about a ball of it about the size of a pea. Yeah, a pea. You don't have to coat the entire thing front to back with this thick layer, like that much, like maybe a quarter of an inch thick and then like an inch long. You don't need that. You just need a dab, a ball of the size of a pea. That's it. Now, if you want to flatten that out and just drag it across and, lightly covering the entire length of the brush, you can do that too. But ultimately, the amount you should be using is that much. And I guarantee you're going to start spending a lot less money on the toothpaste. And the toothpaste companies will hate me. But, hey, you don't need a lot. Same with the mouthwash. They tell you, oh, fill up the cap. Look, you don't need to fill up the cap. If you are having trouble with how spicy it is, because sometimes it's spicy, you can go with a one of the really good non-alcoholic ones. Or if you're using one with alcohol in it, please don't drink it. It's just not a good idea, okay? What you can do is you can add a bit of water to help reduce the intensity. But the consequence of adding water is it's diluting the effectiveness. Okay, so I would suggest over time you decrease the amount of water until you're at full strength. So you can let your mouth adjust to it every time you do it. But, swish that around for 30 seconds to a minute, gargle, and spit. Don't swallow. Same with the toothpaste. When I was a little kid, I loved the taste of toothpaste so much I would swallow when I was done brushing my teeth. Not good. Don't do that. Okay? I don't care what it tastes like. I don't care if your mama bought you baby toothpaste that tastes like the most amazing flavor. Don't swallow it. It's not good for you. If it was meant to be eaten, they would be selling it as food. So getting back to the whole bleeding gums thing, okay? Number one, and the stinkiness of flossing. Okay, if you have not been caring for your teeth correctly, and I've seen some pretty gross stuff where there's like huge amounts of plaque and tartar between people's teeth and it's like protruding and it's everywhere, or you are a smoker. Smoking is really bad for the teeth, the gums, the throat, everything really. But if you go in there to floss for the first time, expect it's going to smell horrible and that your gums will bleed. And the second time and the third time but every time you do it, it'll get a little bit better. Don't give up. And be gentle. Always be gentle in your mouth. Now, I just got myself... Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. And this may help you if you're... because if you have trouble, manipulating the floss in your mouth... And, oh, by the way, when you're putting the floss on your fingers... Now, this is not floss. This is a twist tie. But when you're doing it, you're going to use the middle finger, and you're going to wrap it around... at least a couple of times so that it overlaps that end. And then you're going to make it long enough on the other side when you wrap it so that it's going to give you enough space to comfortably get in there and get all sides of the teeth. So like if you're just going like, here's your teeth, right? And you're just going, shoop, that's not good. What you want to do is, let me just... kind of demonstrate with this. What you want to do is when you're, and I can't do it with this correctly, but imagine that these are my fingers and these are not my fingers. They're my teeth, right? So I've got them on my two fingers and I've got my hands in my mouth. And wash your hands before you start. Make sure that you're running it up and down the wall on the one side, and then you're going to change. So like this, just imagine that I'm moving my hands such that my fingers are now pulling from this side. So now I'm rubbing it up and down against that side. You have to do that in order to make sure that you get it. Now, the shorter, the more precise you can get that length that you're actually using, the better. You can reuse it. Some people don't like that, but it gets, and I can't tell you which floss is the best. I personally prefer the regular string that's waxed, but I find that no matter what kind I get, tartar is going to tear it up. It's just that over time, it doesn't really make a difference. It's little bits of plastic or little bits of waxed string stuck between my teeth. No matter which way, it's just annoying. But I got what used to be called the water pick. I guess the patent must have expired because this is, I love the brand. The brand name is Heya. it's it's so funny. But it has 4 modes. So this button here, I'm gonna have to reduce the. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. You didn't see anything, folks. Nothing happened here. Okay. So you can see that there are these things here. Those are actually lights. So this tells you what mode. So that that one is the strongest. But this first one up here, that's pulse. And the only thing I don't like about this product is these 2 buttons are close together, and I often press this when I want to press off. So then it'll slip, and I always use it on the bottom mode here, the strongest one. So what ends up happening is it'll flip to that one, which is pulse. And I'll think that it's off because it's pulsing, right? So it's off for a second. I'll pull it out of my mouth and suddenly, because it pulses again. So be careful about that. But if you're using this for the first time, I would recommend putting it on the lowest setting. So if that's pulse, right, then that is the lowest setting. That's medium, and that's high. And that thing down there is, I think, for charging, if I remember correctly. And then in order to change the type of pick that you're using, you push this button, which has the power symbol on it, but it's not a power button. I was pushing it. I was like, why isn't this working? You just do that. You push that and pull this out. And there are other picks that you can apply. It even has, so it has all of these. Come on. Stop focusing on me. I'm not important. So, this one's got a little bit of bristles, and this one's got bristles, and then this one's got bristles, and this is for your tongue. I don't like this one. I find it, I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to try to figure out the right way to do it, but it does take, it is, I will admit, this is a bit messy. However, I don't have to have my fingers inside of my mouth, and I find it easier. And anything that makes it easier when it comes to your health is generally, I guess I shouldn't say anything, but when something makes it easier for you such that it reduces your unwillingness to do it, it's kind of a good thing as long as it's not hurting you in the process. But I used to, before I got this, what I was doing is I was flossing, brushing, and washing once a day. And that has worked okay for me, unless I eat too much sugar. Now, I don't generally eat much sugar anymore. I'm using sucralose, which is very, very potent. I only use like a 40th of a teaspoon in 2 cups of liquid. Because if you use too much, it's very bitter. I found that out the hard way when I reviewed it. Just look up sucralose on my YouTube channel for reviews, Glenn's Fast Reviews. It's like, oh, why did I buy this? I'm going to return this. Actually, once I figured out what I had done wrong because there were no instructions, I redid the video. I threw the original one away. But yeah, reducing your sugar intake is very helpful, not just for your mouth, but for your entire body. That's one of the biggest causes of problems in America is overconsumption of sugar. Now, if you are going to start out with this, fine, but start on the lowest setting, work your way up. Oh, and put warm water in here. So you don't have to actually like open this up. Oh no. See, that's what happens. I pressed the on button. So it comes with this little dingly dangly thing that is a kind of a filter to make sure that no crap gets up into there. You do not have to open this. In fact, oh shit. Sorry. You don't have to open it. Now, you can see there's no water in there right now, thankfully. If you want to fill it, open that up, and then put warm water in there. Don't put cold water in there. Oh my God, the first time I did this, I didn't think about it, and I put cold water in there, and I was like, ah! And it was on low. And it was not because of the pressure, it was because of the temperature. My teeth are sensitive from decades of periodontal gum disease. So, yeah, not fun. Anyways, fill it up, and then go all the way around on either side. I would suggest doing both ways, though. Do it on the outside and on the inside. On the bottom and on the top. And what you want to do here, the first time, when I saw the instructions after kind of fumbling with it, I decided, okay, I had my mouth open and I was leaning over the sink and I was spraying into my in between my teeth. And you want to try to make sure you're following as much as you can tell anyways from sensation, the gum line and between the teeth. And I just kept my mouth wide open. And it works, but it's really, really messy, especially when you miss your mouth, which as you're learning how to do it, you'll get better at. But what was really fascinating, well, I guess fascinating is kind of strange to say, but it was fascinating to actually watch as these food particles would drop into the sink. And it let me know, hey, I'm doing a good job. And most of the time, if I just go around the outside, it'll get everything. But every once in a while, there's something that's just really stuck and I have to go from the inside. And I don't even know it's there. I can't tell that there's something that's still stuck. So going around on the inside ensures I get everything. Now, this is not going to be so good for removing plaque between your teeth necessarily, but I can tell you my sink was a little bit dirty, and I accidentally sprayed into water into the sink, and it hit one of those pieces of grossness that had built up in the sink. Like there's this black scum inside down in underneath the cap of the drain, and it's hard to get to, and I accidentally hit that. It was like, pew! It got it, and I just had fun for the next couple of minutes spraying my sink and cleaning all that stuff off without touching. Now it's a little bit messy because splashback and stuff, but it was fun. Don't tell your kids; they're gonna want to play with this. But so what I do instead is I still lean over the sink, right? So I'm like this. The sink is down here, right? Just imagine yourself doing this. And I've got my hand on the sink so I don't fall over. And then I put it in my mouth, and I'm going to close my mouth most of the way because I still want the water. I don't want to blow up like a balloon full of water, because the water's just going to build up in there if you don't open your mouth partway. So I put it in there with my mouth partially open, just enough so that all the water and food particles can go out. And when you're doing this area here, this is when it's the messiest. This is you're going to get the water sliding down here and stuff. So you're going to have to figure a technique. I'm still working on the technique. And you just go all the way around, and then you do the top again like that. And that works wonders. But, if you can't afford this and you are still stuck with floss, just remember that between the flossing and the brushing, you're getting everything off the walls of your teeth. And the mouthwash is not just killing the plaque, it's also removing anything that didn't come out with the flossing and brushing. But be gentle. If you try this, start on low if you're having problems, and then go to medium as your gums heal, and don't go to high until your gums have healed. In fact, I would just be cautious because you want your mouth to heal. And the reason that it stinks badly when you start flossing is because there's anaerobic bacteria in between your teeth. That means there's so much gunk in there that oxygen cannot get in there, and the bacteria that are living there don't need oxygen. and that's bad. So it smells horrible, kind of like sulfur maybe, and you're like, oh God, it just tastes bad and it smells bad. I don't ever want to floss again. Well, that's exactly what the bacteria want you to do, is not floss again, because you're killing them. You're destroying them. So you're doing the right thing, but the immediate reaction you're going to have is like, oh, gross, stinky, yuck. And I'm bleeding. Oh, you were bleeding already, you goofball. So don't let that stop you. Keep doing it, and be gentle, and do it 2 or 3 times a day, as much as you can tolerate, without actually like tearing up your gums, because some people have the touch of an elephant when it comes to being gentle in their mouth. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be the Hey Yeah brand. I mean, I love the name. I gotta hand it to that Chinese company that came up with the name Hey Yeah. Hey Yeah. I'm gonna make a song. But keep on doing this, and after several days, you'll notice there's no more bad smell or taste. Bonus is your loved one who you like to kiss, maybe French kiss, is going to say, wow, your breath doesn't stink as much. Your mouth doesn't taste as nasty. Yeah, the reason your mouth is so nasty tasting and smelling is because you're not flossing and brushing and using mouthwash. And then you're not going to be bleeding anymore. Yeah, that'll be exciting when you spit into the sink and there's no blood. That's great. It's a great feeling. When you don't have the smell and the taste and the blood, and you look and your teeth look better. Now, my teeth don't look great because they get stained with coffee or chocolate, whichever one I happen to consume, and today I had both. So my teeth are... And every time I go to the dentist, they're like, would you like us to whiten your teeth? And I always say, and does that have any actual medicinal value? Or is it just superficial? Oh, it's just superficial. Then why would I want to pay for you to whiten my teeth? I don't care. It's not going to help. It's just going to make my teeth look pretty. I don't care. I don't need my teeth to look white. I need my teeth to function. I need my gums to function. So don't worry about whitening your teeth. And that's, so, but I'm getting off the actual topic. So just keep at it. It'll get better and better and better and better. Now, one of the problems that I have every once in a while is I'll get a little piece of food stuck between the teeth and gums, and usually it's in the back with the wisdom teeth. And it's really aggravating because it's so hard to get it out. Now, with my brushes, my toothbrushes, and these have become very, very hard to find, I prefer the toothbrushes that have the micro bristles. I don't like the regular ones. I think they're too coarse, and they lack... There's something about them that makes them not as good. So what I want you to do is look for better toothbrushes. There are different kinds that you can choose from. I never buy regular toothbrushes anymore, like this kind. You know what I'm talking about. I never buy this anymore. These are great for cleaning, not for grout cleaning. You use these for grout cleaning, or use any brush for removing mold on the grout. It removes the grout, and then you're going to have to regrout. That means you can't use your bathtub, or your bathtub is going to become a sponge because the water's going to go through and into the drywall behind the tiles. What I use is either this, like this kind. It doesn't matter whether it's electric or not. The important thing is it has this nice variety of different kinds of things. The jiggly things, those yellow things on there, don't actually do anything. They are not like anchored to a motor or anything. They're just kind of, if you watch it, this is an electric one, but it's broken because I couldn't get another battery in there. It's like there's no instructions how to change the battery, and you can't pull this thing out, so you can't get another battery in there. I tried, believe me. I even deformed this, and then I couldn't get it back to the point where it would actually touch the battery properly. So yeah, this is an Oral-B failure. But as far as the head is concerned, this does a really good job. In fact, this is pretty much as good as, but more expensive than, this. Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but the bristles are micro bristles. And this is what I always look for when I'm buying. Now, you can get the regular one like this. You can get the ones with charcoal, which I think is just a gimmick. But they do a much better job of cleaning, and they are less damaging to the teeth. I highly recommend. It doesn't even matter what brand it is, as long as it's the micro bristles. One little note. If you look at your bristles on your toothbrush and you see they're starting to like spread out or flatten, you're pushing way too hard, especially if the bristles are flattening. That's a bad sign. But if you used it for a long time and the bristles aren't flattening, but they look kind of like untidy, that's an indication that it's time to change the toothbrush. Also, if you happen to see anywhere on the toothbrush, if you happen to see anything, this is like black stuff, that's fungus. And that's a good sign that you should probably replace your toothbrush, because you don't want to be putting fungus into your mouth. You have enough problems as it is without adding fungus to the equation. If perchance there are any things that you don't understand that you're curious about or whatever, please put a message down below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. I hope this has helped you. As long as you take care of your teeth every day, and especially if you reduce your intake of sugar, then this is going to at least hold the problem at bay, if not fix it. And your dentist is going to be impressed. So, thank you for watching and have a great day. And one little tip, if you're not in a position to actually clean your mouth in a timely manner, and when I say timely manner, within the first half hour after eating or drinking something that can decay in your mouth and be eaten by bacteria, you should try to clean your mouth. But if you cannot do that, I mean, you can, first of all, you can take some water, swish it around, and then swallow it or spit it out, whatever. But aside from that, if you can get something that is at least somewhat bitter, in other words, it's got a high alkalinity or relatively high, you don't want to put something in there that's really, really alkaline, but a high pH, above 7, say, for example, dark chocolate. It shouldn't have milk in it. Preferably, it shouldn't have sugar in it. It should have some kind of a sugar-free sweetener. If you take some of that and let it melt in your mouth and move it, swish it around in your mouth, that actually will retard or even get rid of the bacteria that's been building up in your mouth. I've done this. It doesn't work with every kind of chocolate, so you have to experiment. I can tell you right now, milk chocolate will not work, because milk chocolate is mostly not chocolate, and chocolate is what has the high pH. So you want to get something with that you find every time after you eat it. Even if it's got some sugar in it, you'll discover that, oh my gosh, my teeth feel smooth now. Wow, that's weird. And so you just swish that around, or something else that you can put in your mouth that's alkaline, because the bacteria, they like it when it's sweet in your mouth, and they produce acid, and that's what's damaging your teeth and your gums. So by putting something bitter in there, they don't like that kind of an environment. So there's a little tip for you, but don't take it as an excuse to eat a whole candy bar after every meal. Because I'm not talking candy bars, I'm talking about just chocolate that's dark enough and doesn't have a lot of sugar. Thanks for watching. I need to ask for your help. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon fired me under false pretenses, and the 17th, I had surgery for the injury that occurred at Amazon that Amazon and Sedgwick refused to take responsibility for. So it's coming out of my pocket and my insurance company's pocket. So that means I'm unemployed, and I will not be getting short-term disability from Amazon or from Sedgwick. So my financial situation is a bit of a problem right now. If you would like to help me, there are some things you can do. Number one, you can like, subscribe, share, comment, and turn on notifications on my channels. Number two, if you'd like to give a one-time donation, and please don't do this if you can't afford it, you can, on the Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, do a super thanks. Number three, if you would like to help me on a monthly basis, you can become a member on Glenn's Fast Reviews, and or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there. Thank you so much for your support.